Hi, this is response number 2 to the video called Why Do Evolutionists Resort to Insults? Posted by Berean Beacon. And this time I'm going to cover just 2 of the points that were in the video regarding the bad mutations, and the other point about carbon-14 being used to date fossils that are millions of years old according to geologists. Now, here's the problem. What was claimed by the young Earth creationist in the video was that deleterious mutations or bad mutations are not predicted by evolutionists, and they're somehow contrary to the evolution model. Hello? Here's the thing. The bad mutations were known about by geneticists in the early 1900s, early 20th century, and they realized that, yes, there are bad mutations, but see, the thing is, according to the evolution model, it's not the problem is not that there's bad mutations. The issue is that there need to be some good mutations. It doesn't matter how many, as long as there are some of them. So even if almost all mutations are completely bad, who cares? That's not the point. The point is that there are some good mutations, and it's those good mutations that are selected by natural selection. Of course, in the video, the creationists totally ignored the process of natural selection. So, when you ignore evolutionary science, then basically what you're doing is setting up a straw man and making a false argument. Now, and the other point had to do with carbon-14 dating being used on fossils that are millions of years old, and you can come up with a date. Well, yeah. You know where carbon-14 comes from? It comes from organic material, which he mentioned. Well, can you imagine how in the world could fossils that are in the ground, that's where we find them, remember, in the ground, do you think that maybe there's organic material around the ground? Maybe that when it rains, some of this organic material seeps down into the ground? Oh, yeah, that's right. So basically what the creationists did again was simply ignore reality or aspects of it, and then created another straw man picture that he used to knock down evolution. Well, oh, by the way, in this case we're talking about geology, not evolution. It's geologists who date fossils, not evolutionists. So, hello, if you don't want to be belittled, then try not to belittle science. So when you're dealing with geology, try to talk about geology instead of pretending with the lie that geology is just some kind of a worldwide evolutionist conspiracy. Ooh, that's kind of weird. So, treat science seriously, take geology seriously, and realize that with carbon-14, yeah, carbon contaminates samples. And no geologist in his right mind is going to try to date an object that's in geologic layers that have already been dated at millions of years old with, by the way, radiometric dating methods that can be used to date things that old. He's not going to turn around and say, oh, let's date the contamination here and see how old the contamination is. You're just going to get a spurious carbon-14 date. It'll tell you something about the organic material that's contaminated that area. It's not going to tell you anything about the fossil itself. Of course, creationists, they don't quite bring up these details. Why didn't they tell you about that? Pretty strange.